It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I didn't plan on falling for him. And I certainly didn't plan on doing it the way I did, quietly, over the course of years, until I couldn't ignore it anymore. His name was Daniel, and he was always there, always in the background, always around, a constant presence in my life. We met in college, our first year, and we became fast friends. It was easy to be friends with Daniel. He was the kind of person who made everyone feel comfortable, the kind of guy who would remember your name, even if you had just met for 5 minutes. He had that effortless charisma that made people like him immediately. I admired him, and we got along so well, I never questioned it. He was just one of those people who became a part of your life without you ever really thinking about it. For years, we hung out together in the same group of friends, always laughing, always talking about the same things. We'd go to parties together, watch movies, complain about professors, and share our dreams and fears. And while I never thought of him romantically at first, there was a part of me that always felt a little different when I was around him. It was like there was a small, quiet connection that I could never quite explain. But I ignored it. I ignored it because Daniel was just Daniel. He was one of my best friends, and that was enough. We had our boundaries, our comfortable spots, and I never wanted to risk ruining the friendship with something more. We had too much history, too much in common. And besides, there was no way he could ever feel the same way. At least, that's what I told myself. But slowly, over time, I started to notice things. Subtle things, at first. The way Daniel would laugh at my jokes in a way that made me feel like I was the funniest person in the room. The way his eyes would linger on mine a little longer than usual when we had one of our deep, late-night conversations. The way he would always sit next to me, no matter where we were, no matter who else was around. It was as if we had an unspoken understanding, something that went deeper than friendship, but I couldn't bring myself to acknowledge it. As the years went on, the feelings only grew stronger, and I tried even harder to suppress them. I convinced myself that I was imagining things, that it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But every time I saw him with someone else, my heart would ache, and every time he talked about his future, I felt a pang of jealousy I couldn't ignore. I wanted to be the one by his side, the one he looked to for comfort, for companionship. The breaking point came during the summer after our graduation. We were both back in town, and we found ourselves spending more time together than usual. Late-night talks turned into long walks through the city, and those talks were more personal, more intimate, as if we were both trying to make sense of the changes that had come with finishing school and moving into the next phase of our lives. One night, as we walked along the river, the air warm and heavy with the scent of summer, Daniel suddenly stopped and turned to face me. The city lights reflected off the water, casting a soft glow on his face. I could see something in his eyes, something that hadn't been there before, something that made my heart race in my chest. "Lena," he said softly, his voice low, almost hesitant. "I need to tell you something." I looked up at him, my heart pounding. "What is it?" He took a deep breath, running a hand through his hair. "I don't know how to say this, but I've realized something over the last few months. Something I should have told you a long time ago." He paused, looking down at the ground for a moment before meeting my eyes again. "I've always cared about you. More than you know." My breath caught in my throat, and my mind raced. What was he saying? Was he about to say what I thought he was saying? "I don't know when it happened," he continued, "but somewhere along the way, I started realizing that what I felt for you wasn't just friendship. I've been falling for you for a long time, and I don't know how to tell you this, but I just can't ignore it anymore. I think I've been in love with you." His words hung in the air, and everything around me seemed to stop. The noise of the city, the hum of the river, the soft rustle of the leaves in the trees, it all faded away. All I could hear was his confession, and all I could feel was the weight of it settling on my chest. I stood there for a moment, frozen, trying to process everything. My heart was racing, my thoughts scattered. I had never expected this. I had never thought that Daniel, the guy the first had loved quietly for years, would feel the same way. I wanted to say something, anything, but my mouth went dry. "Lena, please say something," he said softly, his voice full of vulnerability. "I know I should have told you this sooner, but I've been too afraid. Afraid of ruining everything we've built. But I can't keep pretending I don't feel this way anymore." I looked at him, my heart pounding in my chest. The truth was right there in front of me, in his eyes, in his words. I couldn't ignore it any longer. All the years of confusion, of wondering if he had ever felt the same, had led to this moment. I couldn't keep hiding how I felt, either. The truth was, I had been in love with him for as long as I could remember. I didn't know, I whispered, my voice shaking. I didn't know you felt the same way. I've been hiding it, trying not to admit it, because I didn't want to risk our friendship. But I've loved you for so long, Daniel. I just didn't think you would ever see me that way. He stepped closer, reaching out to gently touch my arm. I should have told you sooner. I was afraid of ruining everything, too. But now, I don't want to wait anymore. I don't want to pretend. And just like that, everything I had kept hidden, everything I had feared, was finally out in the open. The love I had quietly carried in my heart for so many years was no longer a secret. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't easy, but it was real. And in that moment, everything I had ever wanted seemed possible. Then don't wait anymore, I said, my voice steady. Let's figure this out, together. And sir, with that simple, unspoken promise, we started something new. It wasn't a fairy tale, and it wasn't without its challenges, but it was ours. A love that had been quietly growing for years, finally coming to life in a moment of honesty and vulnerability.